Every start is a tough one, especially when you are new to a genre. There will be quite some hurdles to overcome, no matter if that is about gameplay or the features. That's why Overtake brought me in Alpino5 to help you with the first hours of Gran Turismo 7. We will have 5 tips that will guarantee a better progression for you all. The last one is especially important, so let's jump in and take a look. GT7 has been out for a couple of days and I absolutely love it so far. There's a lot of awesome content built around the player experience, which is what I care for a lot. That's why our first piece of advice will revolve around the cafe. With the addition of this feature, the player is now able to fulfill quests almost in order to receive cars or roulette tickets, which give you 1 of 5 random rewards. This can be an essential part for you to save some bucks on the side. As in previous GT titles, Gran Turismo 7 doesn't shower you in money, so you should avoid spending too much of it on too many tomato cans early on. Every bit of currency is better invested in racing cars down the line. One of them can easily trim your wallet by a good 500k. Thankfully, the cafe offers some great solutions. The cars you get after each successful championship are always good enough to compete in the upcoming challenges. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I mean this memory looking game where you pick a car at random. If you don't want to pick your readers at random, you can always like the video, subscribe and hit the bell so you're always aware when I'm featured on the Overtake channel. But back to GT7. Even if you end up with another slug-like car, here you are almost always going to do well enough in the upcoming races, but when it matters, you can do small tweaks in tuning shop of course. So be sure to remember, hold onto your money and only spend it on cars you actually need. But what if I told you there's another way to get really good cars without spending a lot of cash? We all know this feeling. The most frustrating mode, the license test, but also the most fun trial and error I have ever had. But even though this mode can have us on the verge of smashing our gamepad, it is also very rewarding when you master it. I personally like to finish all of the challenges at gold, mostly because it motivates me to really learn what they ask of me. But there's another reason: if you complete all the challenges in one category you get a car, but if you get the gold time as well, you get an even better one. And I'm not talking about some ride you will never use. Especially early on you will get some pretty cool cars that way. Most of them even usable. For example, the first batch of gold license tests gives you the Clio RS trophy, which is awesome for the races right afterwards. Beside the rewards, you can see there's also the aspect of racecraft. The more you try to perfect each part of the license test, the more you will naturally learn. If you apply your skills to the story races, then it will give you a massive advantage. The same way you handle license tests, you should do the missions, which you unlock a little later. Same thing there, you complete everything in gold and get rewarded with a nice bit of extra power. But there are even more things which get you ahead. Some positive points of advice can be simple. I for myself play Gran Turismo 7 with the gamepad, and the new trigger buttons can give you surprisingly good resistance, which is something I've never felt in a racing game before. Downside of that is playing with the controller. The camera view can look a little bit stiff, but we can change that. I would be confident in saying that most people play from the chase view, as we know it is not the most dynamic kind of perspective. Not a lot is moving and it can seem odd to others who are not used to Gran Turismo. A way I have fixed this: when you go into the menu during a race, you click on settings and then on display settings. You scroll all the way down to adjust chase view. Once you arrive, just lower all the amounts in there to the minimum. Additionally, you change the chase view type to Neo. And voila, it looks like a completely different perspective all of a sudden. When you drive into fast corners, you can spot the difference the most. The camera is just so much more dynamic. The camera change made Gran Turismo 7 so much more enjoyable for me. Of course, different settings for different people, so I advise to play around with the display settings for yourself. Maybe you prefer a totally contrary style to mine. One thing everybody enjoys is money and fun, best at the same time. As I mentioned before, GT7 can get very expensive in the later parts of the game, so here's my tip to save you some grey hair. There is a certain cup at the start of the game at the Goodwood Motor Circuit. In the Clubman Cup Plus, you may have to channel your inner Mr. Bean, because you will drive around in a Mini Cooper S of 1965, but as a reward, you can get up to 35k for a win. I know what you're saying, but that is nothing special, we have that all over the place, but what you have to know is like one race only takes 4 minutes, so easy stacks. No, for real, this is the easiest way to stack up cash is this race. If you're dedicated, you can make 400,000 bucks every hour. Of course, it can stay fast, so make sure to set a goal of 5 races for example, or hitting the perfect lap. Only then you can stay motivated to do a mini race over and over again. Lastly, I want to give you something personal. I know most of the people want the fastest progression or the best shortcut to the story, but believe me, it's way better if you stick to enjoying yourself. Gran Turismo 7 is filled with all sorts of little details, from car history to a beautiful photo mode. Everything is lost if you go full power into progression, and you will likely lose money in the process. As I said, some cars can be bought for a lot of money when you can just use the ones the games give you. You may not enjoy every second of the grind, but sometimes it is necessary. Gran Turismo is a game built around cars. Luca giving you history lessons for all the cars you just won, or the subscription for each model in the collection as just 2 indicators. If you want the full experience of GT7, you should enjoy the journey and not try to cut it short. But aside from all of this, I hope you guys have a good bit of fun with the game. If my tips helped you, please leave a like. Check out the Overtake channel for more videos like this. This is it from my side. It was a pleasure for being here. See you next time. Bye bye.